Grand Canyon's Boucher and Escalante trails. Both are known to be tough, but beautiful. Which one is tougher? Let's have a look. Both routes require a rim descent. For my Escalante route hike, we descended the Tanner and ascended the S.KAIBAB. Night 1 was spent at beautiful Tanner Beach. Night 2 at the mouth of 75 Mile Creek. Night 3, HANCE Creek. Rick and Billy exited Grandview after the night at HANCE Creek. Mark and I continued on. Night 4 was just past Grapevine Spring. Night 5, Cremation Creek. And from there it was out the S.KAIBAB. The Tanner is a little steep at first as you're descending from the rim, but it's been recently maintained and is in excellent shape. Much of the Escalante route is like the Tonto, rolling and in and out of washes. The main water source is the Colorado River. Be prepared to purify the muddy water. The first minor challenge is the descent into 75 Mile Creek. There's a little bit of a pack lowering operation when you first begin, and after that a little battage. The Slot Canyon is stunning. The big challenge is the PAPAGO wall. It's a vertical scramble. Take your time to assess your route. Don't rush into it. It's almost scarier looking down from the top. An hour later, you'll hit the PAPAGO slide. It's all loose talus, and there's 1 or 2 spots where there's a tight squeeze between rocks. Leave plenty of space between hikers, so you don't trip each other up. Trekking poles are helpful on the descent. The Tonto after New HANCE is fairly flat, but there's some spots along here where, boy, you don't want to fall.
Here we are getting water from gushing Grapevine Springs.
This section of the Tonto has very scarce water.
It's a trickle, but it's water.
We had fun scrambling on the Cremation Creek rocks. Hiking up the S.KAIBAB is quite a slog. There are several ways to do the Boucher Trail. One is via the Hermit, then west on the Tonto. I elected to descend the S.KAIBAB to the Tonto, overnight at Indian Gardens, and then west on the Tonto from there. I spent night 2 at Cedar Spring. There actually was a trickle of water in the spring. It's a beautiful campsite. Here's a view of the sunrise the next morning. Then I cut past the monument. From there I hiked past the Boucher Trail Junction. I spent the night at Boucher Creek to water up. Along the Tonto between Hermit and Boucher Creeks, I met George. His little incident reminded me of the dangers. He fell twice along the Tonto to Boucher Creek. The next day I returned to the Boucher Junction. Yes, the trail goes up there. I split the Boucher over 2 days. Day 1 is a relentless climb. I spent the night at the Red Wall. The Boucher Trail is very steep and very poorly maintained, if at all. It's extremely rocky, but there are pretty good handholds on the rocks.
Well, I just finished the first set of big up climbs. And I started out a couple hours ago down at the bottom at Boucher Creek, and now I'm going to have smooth sailing for a little while before I do one more set of up climbs. So I'm glad to have made it this far. So far nothing too dangerous. Plenty of handholds, good solid rock, and we'll see how things go from here.
After that, more climbing. And, of course, more rocks to scramble over.
This is one awesome campsite. I'm on the Boucher Trail, hiked up on top of the Red Wall. About a 4-hour hike, about 5 miles roughly, and a lot of it vertical. So it was really slow going. But my campsite is right behind me, right where the setting sun is. And I'm standing out on a rock platform that I'll show you in just a second. Here's the rock platform. You can see there's holes in the rock on this platform that have eroded, and these are called tanajas, or little tanks. And after precipitation, they will hold water, enough water for the campers here maybe to get a drink. But I'm out on this awesome platform, and it's almost a little scary because it's one heck of a long way down from here. I wouldn't want to fall off of here. I'm not going to get too close to the edge, but this is a view. I'm going to have to get some sunset pictures tonight, boy. This is quite a spot. I'm right down below Yuma Point, and this is a spot that you can't get to by car. You can only get to Yuma Point by hiking, or down below here on the Boucher Trail. And that's Yuma Point, right up there. Above me, maybe 1,000 feet or so. So I could have hiked out a little bit farther to that point out there. There might even be some better campsites out there, but I was just too bushed. So I decided to pack it in and call it a day here on the Boucher Trail in the Grand Canyon.
The sunset up on the red wall was spectacular. This is a little time lapse of the setting sun. Day 2. It's a little easier day on the Boucher, but it's still a steep climb out on the Hermit. I got an early start in the morning because I wanted to be able to drive back to Tucson before the end of the day. The trail is very undulating until you get to Dripping Springs. After the Dripping Springs trail, it's out the Hermit. Let's summarize some of the differences between the Escalante and the Boucher trails. The Escalante has a very low cardio challenge, but the Tanner and the Grandview are pretty steep. The Boucher, on the other hand, the climb to the red wall is a killer, and the Hermit is no cakewalk either. There's a danger of falls on both trails. On the Escalante, it's very brief, but the Papago wall is vertical. The Boucher trail is more relentless, so I recommend going up the way I did to avoid tumbling down the constant scree. Water availability can be an issue along both trails. It's pretty good on the Escalante, but scarce after Grand Mesa. For my Boucher hike, I had one night dry camping on the red wall, but there's excellent water at Boucher Creek. The scenery is great on both trails. I think the Escalante has unbeatable geology, but the Boucher trail has its own charms. It has a spectacular campsite on the red wall. Thanks for watching. If this video was useful, click like or subscribe below.